Welcome to the Weekly Report. For Randall Riley, I'm Joshua Miller. You can catch all new reports every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time on our blog and over on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to make sure you keep up with all of the latest Randall Riley driver recruiting content. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Links to our social media platforms are available in the description of the video on YouTube and at the bottom of our blog page in the Connect With Us section. Now, let's get to why you're all here. Let's jump into the report. This week in job board searches and clicks, truck driver searches saw big gains all around. Searches notched increases of 30% week over week, 59% month over month, and 24% year over year. Clicks on postings remained positive as well, though not quite as dramatic as those search numbers. Clicks increased by 16% week over week. They remained flat month over month and ticked up 9% year over year. Clicks rebounded, and with that, the totals fall more in line with what we've seen in recent trends, except for 2 weeks, that being the weeks of 26 and 30. Clicks rose on postings for all major driver types, with clicks for inexperienced or trainee driver posts seeing the largest percentage increase. Searches spiked to their highest level since at least 2019, and I say at least here because that's as far back as our data on this category goes. While searches have increased nearly 60% over the past month, those clicks are right on par with what we saw last month. This seems to suggest that while drivers are technically searching, they are either not searching with intent or they're simply being very selective of the positions they click on. We here at Randall Riley tend to think it comes down to research versus intent to apply. For our viewer, BC, who asked a question about this very thing last week, I hope our answer in the comments of last week's report or some of my commentary here today has given you a sufficient and satisfactory answer to your question. This week in freight, load postings decreased by 5% week over week, with both dry van and flatbed decreasing by 6%, while refrigerated inched up by 1% week over week. Truck availability was down by 3% week over week, but most of that was due to flatbed's rise of 4%, as both dry van and refrigerated saw declines, 12% for dry van and 16% for refrigerated week over week. Overall spot rates dipped by 1 cent per mile, but both dry van and refrigerated posted moderate increases. Dry van was up 2 cents per mile, while refrigerated rose by 5 cents per mile. Flatbed, however, decreased by 2 cents per mile week over week. And with that decline, last week marks the 5th straight week flatbed rates have fallen after setting all those record highs throughout the spring. Though overall spot volume and rates aren't consistently rising as they were in the spring, they are still generally outperforming seasonal expectations. So far, dry van and refrigerated rates aren't even weakening. The market continues to be bolstered by various disruptions stemming from material shortage, production volatility, port congestion, and chronic problems with rail service, which is hurting the competitive intermodal segment. On top of all that, purchases spurred on by robust job growth, strong consumer finances, and additional stimulus in the form of those advanced child tax credit payments seem to be keeping a floor on the volume and rates for the time being. Now, for our story of the week. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, July jobs in truck transportation have increased by 9,800 since May. That's great, right? Well, kind of. You see, employment levels are still about 30,000 below pre-pandemic levels. By comparing today's data to that of 3 years ago, the shifts within sectors of trucking transportation become more apparent. The overall number of jobs in truck transportation decreased by only 500 over that time frame, but at the same time, much of that employment has shifted from long-distance hauls to local routes. Employment for local routes, general freight and specialized, increased by 23,500, while employment for long-distance routes, general freight TL, general freight LTL, and specialized have decreased by 15,100, which explains why capacity is so tight in those sectors. And that does it for the weekly report. Thanks for joining us today. Come on back next week as we look at all the latest data and cover another new story of the week. Until then, have a great week, everybody.